And I think the greatest joy often for a child is when they get their first pet, be it a dog or a cat or a bird or a turtle or a goldfish, whatever it is. And probably the hardest thing for a child is when they lose a pet. Very often it's the first time they've experienced any kind of loss in their lives. And I want to bring in Donna Ray Yuritic at this point. Donna, I picked up a copy of Women's Day recently and found the article about you. And I now know that there have been many articles written about you, but there are very few chaplains, pet chaplains in this country. So I'm curious, first of all, what led you to that particular profession, and what do you see as your role as a chaplain?
Well, I feel that my role as a chaplain is to increase the spiritual awareness between humans and their animal companions. I actually compliment you on using the word guardian because, as you said, owner denotes ownership. And I also believe when I call myself an animal chaplain because to me also pet denotes ownership. But my goal is to teach people and show people that they are sentient beings, they feel, and we also want to give them some comfort at that time when the animal is ready to cross, and to counsel the human companions who are left behind.
Do you get people, I know that we have lost animals in our family through the years, and occasionally I'll get somebody who doesn't have animals in their life, and they don't necessarily minimize my grief, but they are a little bit put off by it, like, why are you this upset about a cat? That's why I think your role is so important, because when you have an animal in your life, that is a family member.
Yes, they're beloved family members. So whether you're a child or an adult, people tell their deepest secrets and they share their hopes and their dreams with their animals. And there's no judgment. There's just unconditional love. They listen. And I can't tell you how many people contact me and are so guilty that they feel more so about the death of their animal companion as compared to a family member, and they feel so guilty. But the connection, the bond that we establish with our animals is just, it's a spiritual connection. It's a sacred connection. They're gifts to us from heaven. And we need to honor and bless that bond.
I have a question. This is Evie via Facebook. I recently had to put a beloved cat to sleep. Sorry, I'm reading over Jasper. Due to medical problems related to feline wasting disease, and have noticed my other pets seem affected. Any advice?
Yes, animals do grieve for each other. And they pick up on your grief, so they may be picking up on that. For the animals that I've had to euthanize in the past, I've brought the bodies back to the home, or I've had my other animals accompany us because I want them to see, I want them to smell. But when your animal companions are grieving the death of another animal, we try to keep their daily routine as usual as possible, no changes in their routine, and give them as much attention as possible. Because yes, there's something that has changed dramatically in their little soulful lives.
Do you recommend a situation where you have children and a dog or cat has to be euthanized, that the children be part of that process as well?
Sometimes. Yes, I really do, and sometimes it obviously depends on the age of the animal. I've written a book called Animal Angels Pause to Remember, and it's how to talk to your children about the death of their animal companion, and it's actually talking about euthanasia in a very accurate manner, but in a very gentle manner, the most gentle manner as possible. So. And you can have your animal euthanized at home so that the animal is not experiencing the stress of being at a veterinary clinic or a veterinary hospital. And then when it's at home, you can have family members gather, you can have photos, candles, flowers. But again, you really need to speak and include the children. So many parents want to protect the children and tell them that their beloved animal has run away or been taken to a farm or whatever. And it's so important because that is their first, oftentimes it's their first experience with death. And how we treat that death. You know, so many people flush a goldfish down the toilet, and that child oftentimes has sat at that fishbowl and shared their secrets and their dreams with that fish. And to flush a goldfish down the toilet shows our disrespect and our disregard for human life or for life. And how are we teaching our children empathy?
Yeah, I've also heard that you shouldn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that you shouldn't say to a child, we had to put, Fluffy to sleep.
That's right.
That's a dangerous thing to say to a child, to use that term.
Absolutely, Meredith, because put to sleep a young child, it's like they're afraid to go to sleep, or they're afraid for mommy and daddy to go to sleep. So that's why my book really does talk about euthanasia, and we never say put to sleep.
Well, I commend you for what you do. I think it is so important.